Opp states that for a choice to be ethical, it must conform to a theory or standard of ethics that applies subjectively to everyone. This is logistically impossible. Ethics and universality are not compatible. Saying that a belief has to be universal to be affirmed as ethical is false. Opp declares, I never defined what is ethical, thus never demonstrated that vegetarianism conforms to that standard. That's false. I stated that this House believes that the choice to be a vegetarian lessens our species' ecological impact on the planet, a primary ethical concern for any 21st century human being living in the first world, and lessens hardships on animals and human beings, which certainly constitutes as ethical. OpSite's article on VegSource.com uses the word ethical in its title and 10 more times throughout the article without defining it. The argument that I should be penalized because I need to explicitly define ethical in the time constraints allotted for this debate is flawed. As for my opponent's framing of my understanding of the resolution is flawed, you are wrong. The resolution states that it is a better ethical choice for this House. By including the words this House into the meaning of the resolution, the word believes gains important syntactic meaning. This radically changes the nature of the resolution and, more importantly, the nature of the evidence for the resolution's truth. The resolutional focus ceases to be on the hypothetical reasons why someone should choose a vegetarian diet and instead shifts to examining the reasons and evidence that support the belief in the statement. Thus, the resolution becomes one of epistemic fact. I've clearly defined this House as members of the U.S. society in the current status quo. I included myself, the judge, and my opponent in the categorization. My opponent completely ignored this and argued about irrelevant groups and peoples and their beliefs in the context of meat eating. Therefore, the cultural relativism argument should be completely ignored. We are not going house to house comparing the relative ethical beliefs. I haven't stolen any ground or limited my opponent's arguments at all. Obb states that she should have access to the argument that vegetarianism is better for some people in some contexts, while I should be limited to arguing that it is beneficial to everyone because of the language of the resolution. She has clearly misinterpreted the resolution, so I ask that you reject her statement that I've limited her arguments. My opponent affirms that certain groups may benefit ethically from abstaining from meat. My opponent affirms that my plan promotes the interests of humans and animals. Opponent's argument that the food industry offers life to animals as opposed to no existence at all is ridiculous. Their existence is hardly that. It's filled with pain and suffering. Cruelty-free meat production, a term brought up by my opponent, is a myth. There's no perfect solution to the question of how to eradicate animal suffering, and the consumption of animals causes their loss of life as well as takes a huge toll on the environment. Even farms who operate with the intention to minimize animal cruelty have many instances of suffering. The Time.com article opposition cited is completely biased and written by a self-proclaimed carnist who admits to being accessory to the torment of animals and states that the points made by activists about the environmental effects and animal rights are unanswerable. He concedes that he is wrong. Ethically speaking, doing whatever we can to conserve our planet's resources and save the lives of sentient creatures is the right course of action. Doing things unnecessarily that clearly go against the well-being and existence of the Earth's creatures constitutes as unethical, meat eating included. Thank you.